My name is Jordan Vogt, and this is my Hunley Inc. fly fishing case. Hunley is a company which manufactures, distributes, and sells fly fishing rods across the United States. The company was founded in Idaho by C.W. Hunley. Since its founding in 1939, Hunley has remained a family business and been headed by two additional generations of Hunley men. Hunley's current financial goal is to increase sales 10% from 2017. In order to do that, the company must decide whether to create an entry-line rod to sell in Walmart or develop a high-end brand and rod to sell in specialty fly shops. The three main stakeholders in the case are Hunley's reputation, its customers, and its competitors. If Hunley begins selling a low-end rod to a bargain retailer, the company risks losing their medium to high-quality standing. This may result in Hunley product owners second-guessing the quality of their purchases or switching to a higher-end brand to maintain the prestige of the sport. Fly fishers want a rod which will aid them in fly fishing, but will also be a symbol of status. If Hunley begins selling to Walmart, those status-seeking anglers are likely to trade in their Hunley rod. The move to Walmart will remove the prestigious feeling of owning the rod and lessen the customer experience of owning Hunley. If Hunley develops its high-end Titleist brand, it will increase competition within that target market. It could also create a battle for high-end materials and convince well-known sponsors to switch brands if the price is right. A special report on fishing is published each year. The report lists annual participant numbers per year. The report also breaks down fly fishers by demographics, including, but not limited to, gender, age, income, education, and ethnicity. 6.9 million Americans participated in fly fishing last year. Over half of fly fishers attended college, and just under half earn over $75,000 a year. According to the American Fly Fishing Trade Association, small brick-and-mortar fly shops accounted for $748.6 million in sales. The association also categorized sales by season. The most popular time to buy fishing equipment is between July and September. After developing a marketing matrix, I decided that Hunley should follow a new brand strategy. In order to grow future sales without cannibalizing current sales, Hunley must create a new brand and a new product. Hunley should follow a concentrated marketing approach, and the company should offer one new product to one niche market. In this chart, I captured the pros and cons of each possible strategy. If Hunley develops a high-end brand, it would also be able to capture a new market class with a large disposable income to spend. Hunley also has exclusive rights to the GB graphite, therefore the material cannot be used by another brand for 1 year. In contrast, there are additional advertising costs that come with developing the Titleist brand. Hunley's marketing team predicted that the company would have to spend double the budget on advertising for a new upscale rod. There are also pros and cons to developing an entry-level rod. On the positive side, Hunley would be capturing a new market class of lower-income anglers. They would also be saving money on advertising by being able to exclude sponsorship costs. On the other hand, Hunley incurs additional manufacturing costs of $32.50 per rod. The company must also give up manufacturing control by producing the rod in China. Hunley runs the risk of cannibalizing the majority of its existing Klamath sales by introducing a rod of equivalent quality at half the price with the same brand name. I developed a pro forma income statement for each possible strategy. If Hunley were to sell 7,000 Titleist rods at $400 wholesale, they would acquire $2.8 million in sales. $2.8 million in sales minus a $1 million initial purchase order would give Hunley a gross profit of $1.8 million for the first round of Titleist rods. $1.8 million plus $13.9 million in estimated gross profit for the existing Klamath rod would give Hunley an estimated $15.7 million in gross profit. However, it will cost Hunley $140,000 in sales commission and an additional $1.8 million in advertising, which brings the final EBITDA of Titleist rods and the existing Klamath rod to $6,381,000. In contrast, if Hunley decided to develop an entry-level rod, the initial sale of 72,000 rods at $65 wholesale would give them $4.6 million in sales. $4.6 million plus the estimated Klamath rod sales of $26.2 million would equal $30.9 million in sales for 2018. However, I predicted that Hunley will cannibalize its existing Klamath sales by at least 28.25%, which would bring their 2018 estimated sales down to $22.2 million. After subtracting the final cost of goods sold amount of $14.6 million, the Walmart strategy brings Hunley's gross profit down to $7.5 million. Although Hunley saves money in sales commissions and advertising, the final EBITDA still falls to only $305,450. The Titlelook brand fly rod is targeting wealthy fly fishermen who fly fish at avid and competitive levels. The rod should be introduced to the market in mid to late June. Father's Day is in June and falls right behind tax return season. Also, the majority of fly rod equipment is sold between July and September. My final recommendations for Hunley are to introduce a high-end and luxurious fly rod under the new brand name Titlelook River. The rod should sell for $400 wholesale and $800 retail. This price point will capture the luxury market but keep the Titlelook just under its competitors' pricing. As competitive and avid anglers are responsible for 80% of all fly fishing related sales, this new rod should continue to be sold in specialty fly shops. Hunley must reallocate advertising funds immediately from print ads to social media ads and work on developing a Google presence. I recommend that the company quadruple their online presence budget. Increasing online presence should also increase online sales. Selling directly through Hunley's website is more cost-effective for the company as they will receive retail price as opposed to wholesale price. I have developed an implementation plan for Hunley, which includes short-term and long-term goals. Hunley should immediately place a purchase order with Mitsubishi for 7,000 high-end fly rods. The company should also begin forming a marketing team as soon as possible. This team must develop an online presence for the company. This includes opening an Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube account for the Titlelook River brand. Google Ads would also be highly beneficial. Hunley needs to ensure that when a prospective customer Googles fly rods, Hunley and Titlelook are the first links to appear. In the long term, Hunley should extend their brand to include saltwater rods. Saltwater rods are extremely similar to freshwater, the main difference being corrosion-resistant fittings and heavier weighted lines. As Hunley has already perfected the art of developing rods, a saltwater-friendly rod is a concept still within the company's wheelhouse.